so in love with you.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in, and evictions right now are absolutely exploding, causing many investors to start panicking. The reason why they're starting to panic is their cap rates are absolutely being demolished right now, which is good news for us, people on the sidelines waiting to purchase houses, because what that means, y'all, is way less investor demand and way more inventory from investors. If investors can't make money from their rentals, obviously what they're going to do with those rentals is get rid of them, put them back on the market. And if it's in a distressed market or being sold in a distressed market, they will have no choice but to sell their houses and liquidate for under market value. And here's the amazing thing, you guys, we're only in the second inning of this journey. We are still in the realm of quantitative tightening and high interest rate. We haven't even got our confirmed recession yet. Many Federal Reserve officials are expecting this recession to be prolonged. And not only that, you guys, consumer debt right now is absolutely exploding and excess savings is almost gone. So there is a lot of things going on right now in this market. But remember, you guys, I'm not a financial advisor, even if I want to be. Even if you want me to be your financial advisor, I'm not, even though my bio is as a realtor, loan officer, and instructor in real estate in Texas. And I absolutely love helping home buyers. And also, guys, I had a foreclosure, repo, bankruptcy, and a tax lien in 2008, 2009 collapse. So I got a little bit of experience in this stuff. And right now, what I'm saying is we should be cautious. The unaffordability right now is absolutely wrecking us. So we'll start by jumping into an article that's analyzing the current state of eviction. Now, this will be linked in my description. I always try to give you guys the sourcing of my data. This is from Eviction Lab. Name of this article is Preliminary Analysis, Eviction Filing Patterns in 2022. Really good stuff here as far as understanding the trajectory of evictions. Over the last 3 years, eviction filing rates across the United States fell below levels that were normal prior to COVID-19 pandemic. A wide range of policies contributed to this reduction. Federal, state, and local eviction moratorium, an unprecedented investment of $46.6 billion in emergency rental assistance, or ERA. That's right, you guys. The government put aside $46 billion towards the emergency rental assistance. It's also an expansion of the right to legal representation in eviction cases in a number of cities and states, and the growth in eviction diversion programs. These policies prevented millions of American renters from losing their homes to eviction during the public health emergency. But evidence from 2022 shows that this exceptional period when renters had additional tools to remain housed has come to an end. Eviction filings are increasing as policies expire. Since the start of the pandemic, we have been tracking eviction court filings in jurisdictions across the country. The crazy thing about evictions, y'all, is there's no government entity that actually tracks evictions. Isn't that crazy? Did y'all know that? Now, the 10 states and 34 cities in the eviction tracking system, or ETS, are home to about 1 in 3 rental households nationwide. While not designed as a random representative sample, these data nonetheless allow us to monitor trends and provide the best available picture of shifting eviction risk. In this brief, we update our previous research on filing patterns in 2020 and 2021, exploring how patterns changed over the third year of the pandemic. Now, this number should freak you guys out. In 2022, landlords filed nearly 970,000 eviction cases across the sites that they track in ETS, an increase, you guys, of 78.6% compared to 2021. And here's the thing, they're only covering about half the renters. So it's very possible that the true eviction filings are near 2 million, because again, they're only tracking about half. And think about that, an increase of 78%. And that's in 2022. We don't even have information out yet for 2023. Evictions right now are absolutely skyrocketing in an unprecedented manner. Early in the pandemic, court closures and evictions moratoria dramatically reduced the number of eviction cases that landlords filed with the court. In 2022, roughly 540,000 eviction cases were filed across the places we collect data. That was almost 580,000 cases fewer than normal, with these missing evictions marking the cases that were never filed, even as state eviction protections expired. So a lot of people were filing evictions, but again, the emergency rental assistance helped with that. The nationwide eviction moratorium issued by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention and the rollout of ERA helped to keep eviction filings well below average in 2021. But in 2022, case filings started to look much closer to what we have expected in pre-pandemic years. All told, landlords filed nearly 970,000 eviction cases across the sites that we track, an increase of 78.6% compared to 2021. And I want to remind you, in 2022, some of those programs still existed. So the fact that we're already at pre-pandemic eviction filings during a year when there were programs means we have a huge problem forming, and that's already there actually in the rental market, and that's probably the overwhelming unaffordability for almost every single renter. Let's take a look here and compare what happened in 2020, 2021, compare that to 2022, and you can essentially see that eviction observed filings have almost doubled over the last 2 years. 2020 had 540,000. 2021, 542,000, and 2022, the real deal Holyfield observed filings, almost 1 million filings in 2022. And guess what? We're in 2023 and things are even more unaffordable. And they're only covering about half of the market. So evictions are absolutely skyrocketing and in such a short amount of time. Again, you guys, that's making investors right now freak. This increase in case volume is also apparent when we zoom in just on 2022 data. Across all sites in the ETS, we recorded almost 66 eviction filings in January 2022, approximately 35% less than what is normally typical. So you can see in 2022, it started low. So it sped up as these programs ran out, again, at unprecedented speed. The million is not a true reflection of what's going on right now. What's going on right now is much worse. Over the next 8 months, those numbers steadily increased, peaking at over 96,000 cases filed in August 2022, 8.2% less than the historical average. Now, case volumes declined slightly in the last quarter of the year, but that follows a predictable seasonal pattern. So looking at month over month eviction filings, you can see that since about April of 2022, evictions have been going up. And then it peaked around August and then started going down and then went up again in December. So I can't wait to see what the first quarter of 2023 looks like for not only evictions, for defaults. Unfortunately, the way that Fred reports credit card auto loan defaults is on a quarterly basis, so we have to wait. But this is showing us that consumers, regardless of the unemployment rate going down, are absolutely getting robbed. All right, it's hitting the people on the bottom first, and it's sad, quite frankly. Take a look at this, guys. This is the change in eviction filings relative to historical average from 2021 to 2022. So we're going to look at the metro areas with the fastest surge of evictions. Just in case y'all don't think that the rental market is being crushed, here's some more proof that it actually is. So we start with Las Vegas at an increase of 53% from 2021 to 2022 in eviction filings. Now, Houston, that's my home city, is an increase of 75% from 2021 to 2022. We also have Minneapolis on 110%, triple digit increase. Now, Hartford, 73, Jacksonville, 45, Bridgeport, 67, Columbus, 29, Fort Worth on here at 55, Dallas at 48, Nashville 36. Let's see what Phoenix is doing. Phoenix is 40%. We'll probably see that take up. Phoenix is a hot mess right now. That is a fact. I flew there myself. I have no doubt. And honestly, I was thinking, like, what's the number one crashing metro? What do I think it is? And honestly, y'all, I have to think more about it, but I may put my bets on Phoenix just because of the massive amounts of new construction. Tampa's at 25, Milwaukee 40, so pretty much everywhere. Austin's massively up 80%, pretty much everywhere. Let's look at New Orleans. New Orleans is up 43%, so all of these cities are up, right? Boston's up 25, Cleveland's only up 16%, Albuquerque only 18. Very interesting. But if you guys want to access this and kind of dig in more, I'll have this linked in my description below. And honestly, guys, when we really think about how much money was printed, how are we already in this mess? There was so much money printed. What that should tell us is how poorly normal consumers spend their money. It's actually really sad. We don't need watches and purses and shoes. We need good credit, a down payment, and a home that at a fair price. Don't you all agree with that? I mean, let me know if you all agree. I cannot believe we're in this mess already. Between 2021 and 2022, all of the 32 cities in the ETS we have full data coverage of saw an increase in eviction filings. So across the board, evictions are going up. In some cases, like Cleveland and Albuquerque, this change was relatively small and still left total filings in 2021 well below historical average. But in other cities, the increase was much larger. For example, in Twin Cities, filings increased 27%. Historical average was 137%. That represents 9,000 more eviction cases filed in 2022 than the previous year. Overall, 14 of the ETS cities finished the year with eviction filings above historical averages. And again, above already during a year where there were programs to eliminate that. That should tell you guys like how strong quantitative tightening, inflation, and unaffordability is. Particularly striking among this group is Houston, Texas, where I live, where landlords filed over 82,000 eviction cases in 2022, 40.6 more than would have been historical. So massive, massive stuff going on in the Houston housing market. And I could tell you that, that rent has been going down for sure in Houston. For sure, it's been going down in Houston. In 6 ETS cities, Cincinnati, Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, New York, and Philadelphia, we track the amounts that landlords claim tenants owe them where they file an eviction case against them. Since mid-2020, landlords have been making claims that were far larger than what was normal prior to the pandemic. So landlords are going crazy. Give me all my money, right? Between 2020 and 2022, landlords across these cities have claimed a total of $2.1 billion in eviction cases. That's insane. That is a lot of missing money. More than half of that amount, $1.1 billion, was claimed in 2022 alone. That's also absolutely crazy. Overall, fewer cases than normal were filed in 2022 in these cities, but total claims were 40% above average. Fewer tenants were facing the threat of eviction in these cities, but those who did owed considerably more. Y'all, sometimes I ask myself, what else can I do to warn people? What else can I do to show people the red flags, to help them read the writing on the wall, understanding that consumers are absolutely being crushed right now, and right now is a time for caution. I don't know what I could do, but what I'm going to do next is let's briefly listen to a video from some news anchors talking about the eviction crisis.
Months indicates that evictions are rising far above pandemic levels and likely meeting, if not exceeding, pre-pandemic levels across much of the country. The story here, as you referenced, is that during the pandemic, because so many people lost their jobs, the federal government took a series of steps to stave off an eviction crisis, and it worked. They instituted a moratorium on evictions, and Congress provided $46 billion in emergency rental assistance, as well as other COVID-related stimulus. This was highly effective at preventing evictions.
And the problem with those programs being so highly effective is people start leaning on them and get accustomed to them. And I think that's why we're seeing so many people that are going into eviction and that appear blindsided is there's no more free money. And, and when I wake up in the morning, oh my gosh, my rent is $500 more per month. So this is really shocking. This is actually really a sad situation. Again, as a result of overprinting and excessively low interest rates. Let's go back into the video.
New York, because, they're like, it's like bonkers.
It's insane.
Yeah, but that's what happened. Like during the pandemic, landlords were offering all these great deals and everything. And then post-pandemic, they didn't just like sort of resume where they left off. They made up for lost time, and suddenly the rents exploded, right?
Which it's hard to, it's so difficult, right? Because on one hand, I was just talking to somebody who was explaining to me that she is about to sell this apartment that she has. The current renters came in during the early wave of the pandemic and she gave them a steep discount on the rent. Now she's saying to them, I'm going to bring it back up to pre-pandemic levels and maybe even higher to make up for the lost time, as Anne Marie pointed out. And the people are like, well, we're moving. And it sucks. It sucks for the landlord, and it stinks for the people who are renting.
Yeah.
So basically what happened is the landlord started jacking up rent like crazy, probably as a result of all that free money. And now they're starting to see their tenants start to walk away. And as you heard in that story, they're selling. That's a story of a landlord that was renting out during COVID, went to raise their rent, their tenants left, and now they're forced to sell their property. And this is what I'm saying, y'all. It's only gonna get worse and worse. And the fact of the matter is we need it to get worse because we need the inventory back. You guys probably know and understand that there has never been such a high amount of investor share in our housing market than it is right now. So investors right now have enough inventory to save and reverse our housing market, just to put that in perspective. But the thing is we need them to be forced to sell. And we're going to start seeing that again in 2023. And we are already seeing it during this course of quantitative tightening. And the thing is if you're renting like me, we don't want to get trapped renting. We want to be the owners of our houses, but we want to purchase houses when the knife isn't falling, right? When the dust is settled, when we know it's safe to do it, when we can afford it, when we can find the deal of our dreams, or something close to it. Part of the ways to do that, you guys, is credit, income, assets, mindset, love your life, and continue to improve your purchasing power. Now, other than that, you guys, I really hope you guys got some value, insights, and perspective today. And if you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck, and I hope you win.